this, I saw George St. Pierre and BJ Penn. Was the first time I'd seen a fight, and there was no MMA gyms or anything like that. I just went out for the wrestling team at the high school because I was already there and all that. So I didn't start really getting into MMA until I came back from college, or 1 year from college, and I wanted to sign up for a jiu-jitsu tournament. And I never trained it or anything. I went and signed up for the jiu-jitsu tournament. And then the guy's like, oh, yeah, we do some fights on the jiu-jitsu tournament was Sunday. He was like, we do some fights on Saturday. And there's nobody for this guy. I was like, fight that motherfucker right now. Like, and I never trained before. I just wrestled. So I was like, yeah, please. It was like Tuesday. And
How old were you?
18. Yeah. So I just showed up, no mouthpiece, I didn't know you needed a mouthpiece or cup or anything.
Oh, you didn't have a cup?
Yeah, the dude I fought was like 26, and I just went in. Well, they went to Walmart because as I'm getting ready to step into the octagon, I was like, "Where's your mouthpiece and cup?" And I was like, "What?" Like, I preparing for a wrestling match, I guess. And they ran to Walmart and grabbed me one, and I beat the fuck out of the guy.
That's so crazy. Did you have any striking at all?
What I saw on TV.
Oh my God!
I didn't really have real
crazy.
training until I got into until I got over to. I mean, I trained hard with one of my coaches, Sean Desai. He was my first true coach in Michigan, and we trained hard. And he showed me a lot of things. He was a boxer, so he showed me a lot of things. But I didn't really have a real. I was still a full-time student when I got the call from the UFC. I got the call in like December, and finals. I got the call like finals week. And I was like, well, shit, let me go ahead and bust out these finals, and then, I'm done with this shit. And then the fight was like late January, I think, or so.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I was like a full-time student when I was taking 15 credits as a med student.
So you really had only had like a couple of years of striking at that point.
Yeah, if that, yeah. And
Wow.
a lot of wrestling and a lot of, I didn't really get it really good into striking until I got over to Vegas and worked with Dewey Cooper.
That makes it even more impressive, man. That you've been able to make such a big leap in such a short amount of time. I mean, we're talking about like 7 years then. I mean, that's really crazy.
Consistency. I think consistency is the key. Like I love this shit. Like I got the most fights in the lightweight division since my debut than anybody else, and it's just because I stay consistent. I keep my body healthy. I keep showing up, and the more you see things coming at you, the better it gets.
That's definitely a factor, but I think it's also intelligence, the understanding of your. Also, like there's different kinds of intelligence too, and there's intelligence of like how to get good at things, and some people just. I don't know if it's a physical thing, if their body works better, or if it's just that they are able to see how someone does something and listen to instruction and then break it down and put it together. But I've seen it in little kids, man. When I used to teach little kids, there was little kids that weren't even like physically talented. It's not like they were gymnasts. They could do backflips and shit. They could do crazy shit with their body. There's some kids where you would show them like, see this foot's got a pivot, and then it's all about your hips. And they would see you and they would go, oh, okay. And then you would see them breaking it down. And then other kids would be like, they just couldn't see what you were doing.
Yeah.
They would throw their feet up in the air. Their foot would never pivot. They're putting all this pressure on the knee. Like, whoa, don't do that. Don't do that. You got to turn your hips. Your foot's got to go with it. And then some people just could mirror you. I see it in jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah, for sure, big time. In jiu-jitsu and grappling especially, grappling
some people
and
just see
wrestling.
They just see it.
I think it's come, like you say, it's an intelligence.
Yes.
There's people think it's just a brute thing that you're doing, but it's very, at least for me, like I approach it kind of like a science. It's almost as A, B, C, D, E. I go from here. If not, then I branch off. I have different systems for every kind of situation that will arise, but I kind of approach it like a scientist. Like I went to school for biomed. Like that kind of stuff interests me. You know what I mean? Like there's art to it. There's a huge portion of it that's art.
Expression.
Yeah,
right?
The expression part is art, and I think it's one of the purest art forms. Fighting this that there is, and
if someone looks great doing it, that is like a form of art.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I think I get so irritated whenever somebody says it's not.
They're crazy.
I get so irritated.
Did you see Bellator when Gaston Bolanos landed that insane spinning elbows, like one of the greatest spinning elbows of all time?
Probably. Yeah,
I've watched that shit about 80 times. I just play it back like I'm watching a flower bloom or watching a fucking eagle soar. It's just